Welcome to the beautiful new construction home community called Avelina. Today in a second we're going to head directly in there and I'm going to give you Adam Hancock's take on an A to Z breakdown of what this neighborhood entails. What are the prices? How many homes are they? What are the floor plans like? What is your total availability? The HOA fees, what's included in those fees? Who this community may be a good fit for, family-wise, singles-wise, retiree-wise, where is it located? Why any of that should matter to you, and everything in between. So I hope this adds you a ton of value, and let's get started. All right, let's get into the neighborhood a little bit to start. So Avelina, this community, is built by a builder called Neal Communities. So think Windward and Indigo and Lakewood Ranch, think Grand Park in Sarasota, Grand Palm in Venice, a really, really nice track record throughout Sarasota, Manatee County greater. You know, they're a good blend of not a full custom builder, but for the price and the aesthetic, I think it makes a lot of sense. This community specifically, 96 total homes. So you're gonna have a much more of a boutique enclave kind of feel. And then on top of that, what they did is across those 96 homes, every single lot in here is the same width. They're all a 50-foot lot fitting a 62-foot planed house. What that's going to do, if you're not super familiar, at the lowest sense, it's going to, one, create a really nice average price point that's going to be more similar to your neighbor. So value over time, that's gonna really help. And then beyond that, in the short term, just aesthetically, all 3-car garages, it's gonna look like with the five plans are going to keep it from looking as cookie cutter, but the blend of homes being more like not having a home that's $800,000 more than the neighbor, I think is going to help a lot of people, and aesthetically I think it's going to look great. All right, and then if you want to throw one more unique tool in the belt, if you want to say it that way, is from what I understand, there's 5 floor plans across the 96 lots you can pick from, right? So the cool thing is you can take any floor plan and put it on any lot, which is atypical of a new construction community on a greater scheme. But I also understand that all 5 of these are not sold anywhere else. So they're similar to other Neal communities, but you can't find them anywhere else. So I think that adds a nice little element to the equation. All right, while I have your attention, I just want to show you 2 quick examples to drive home the further context. So I'm standing in a model called the Silver Sky 2. This is the biggest of the 5 total floor plans in here. You're sitting at 2,762 square feet as a base. You have 4 bedrooms, you have 3 bathrooms, and you have a 3-car garage. This is a fantastic example of the appropriate size lot, width, and depth for this size home on a single story. If you want a 3-car garage and you want this square footage, and you need a 62-foot wide house on a 50-foot lot to be probably the minimum you want to do. If you're on a smaller lot, what it would do is you'd lose this, right? You'd lose an open living room next to an open kitchen. The houses that you walk in, it's 2 lanes of a house that stack, like the kitchen, the dining room's behind, you know, the living room, or the bedroom start stacking. That's because of the narrowness of the lot. Another factor that is very underrated is if you step into this pool deck here, you know, pool spa package or whatever, they can only build the pool and the screens to the planes of a house. So regardless of how big your house is, whether you have 2 stories or whatever, if the lot is narrow, your pool will not look like it rolls this wide. And what really matters is having space in front of before you get to the pool, and having space to the side of the pool. Because, you know, if you have kids, you have a screen right here. So if you have a really small one, you won't have any area to do anything else. You won't have any area to cook. You'll have no outdoor kitchen. It'll be just the pool. This is a wide pool, wide lot, plenty of paver area, whether you do travertine or pavers. They cannot take your screen past the planes of your house. So I think this is a really good example, and let's check out one more. All right, example number 2. I think this is interesting because I stand in a model called the Sea Spray. Now, the model next door was the biggest model in here. This is the 3rd biggest, so there's one in between. But this is only about a little over 100 square feet smaller than the one we just walked. Same size lot, but look at the difference, right? So what you can do with, this is where floor plan would really matter to how you live as a family, right? Look at how much bigger this kitchen feels. So are you someone that values like having everyone gather, a huge bar area? That house was not smaller next door, it was bigger, but look at this size bar and this kitchen orientation. It feels like a much bigger house. There's no dining room back here. There's a pool bath instead. The dining room's up in the front. I think this is really particular of like, this is a house that it really, like if everyone in your family and your crew and you entertain hang out in one room, very interesting. And then look at this same size house again. Look at the pool deck feel. This would be an example of, that has a built-in outdoor kitchen, probably $15,000 outdoor kitchen right there with gas. You have travertine instead of pavers, right? You have a landing up here, so that's why you'd want that room to the side. So you kind of get the feel here. But the thing with this community is typically you'll see this huge range of square footage and floor plans and everything like that. This one being a little bit more blended, it lets you really pick like, I'm not sacrificing this huge space, but I'm picking like, how do I live individually? And and all of these are so similar in price and feel that I think it's a little easier to navigate these than the average community I come across in a great way. Okay, just to recap real quick, we have 96 total homes at Avelina. We have 5 floor plans. The C aisle is 2,327 square feet, starting at $600,000, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 3 car garage. The Bay Breeze, 2,520 square feet, $640,000 base price, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 3 car garage. We have the Sea Spray, which I showed you, 2,610 square feet, $650,000 base price, hop to a 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 3 car garage. 2 more, we have the Shoreline. The Shoreline is 2,641 square feet, $654,000, $990 base price, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 3 car garage. And finally, we have the Silver Sky 2, which is the model I'm showing you now, 2,762 square feet, $668,000 base price, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, and a 3 car garage. All right, before we hop to the next section, if you're resonating with this video or any of the videos, even in the slightest, the best next thing you can do, download the free digital guide. It's in the description box below. I'll try to link it right here. 15, 20 pages, absolutely free. It's a flip book. Check that out, and without further ado, let's hop back in. All right, for now, for the not so fun but very important stuff, let's talk pricing. So I want to walk you through a little bit of how I'd articulate it to get a good way to do it, basically. So let's take the smallest model first. There's 5 models again. The C aisle, the base price is $599. So what typically would happen is the lot premiums with Neal Communities, which is the cost of the land. You can't separate it if you're not super familiar with it. They're not going to be terrible here. You're talking $25,000 to probably $75,000 at the most, depending on if you're water or what you're on. So say you take that $599, and we just say even numbers, we go $50K. So the $599 would turn into $650,000 before you got to contract on base price, which is the model that you're in, and then the land. And then you need to add structural upgrades, which is the third component that makes an actual contract, which is stuff that affects the permit. They need to know in advance. That would be changing a footprint, extended patios. Are you doing a pool, yes or no? Not the design, but yes or no pool, yes or no spa. Gourmet kitchen, built-in range, right? Then moves the microwave and the oven in a different location, right? Those are examples, right? So say that you get, say that not counting the pool price yet, you get to, say you add another $50,000. Now you're at $700,000. Then I want to do a pool and a spa. In a current state, pool, spa, no travertine with only pavers and a screen, you're probably going to add at least $100K, I'd say. So now you're at $800,000. And you haven't considered design, which is aesthetics, color of counters and type of floors, that kind of thing, right? Wall, that kind of thing. So say you add like $75,000, that's $875 right there. So you can see it can add up here. So what I would do is I would take a base price of a home on the website for Avelina, and I would add 20 to 40%, probably 30% as a really good medium, 20 to 40% on top. So multiply this number by 1.20 or 1.40, and that's how you're gonna get the pricing in here. So where you're gonna settle here, if you do a pool, you're gonna probably be at the minimum of low $800,000, but I don't think you ever need to get to 1.2 million. So it's a pretty even scheme if you take what Neal is to the whole area. So then you take the Silver Sky, the biggest model, the base price is $668. So see how that math would orient? Because you could say percentages are percentages, but also if you have 500 square feet larger of a home then you probably are going to spend more on design. There's more rooms to fill. If you do expand an area, it's a bigger area to expand. So the good thing about these is the lot widths are the same, so the pool deck might be the same size. But what I would do is I've seen people add $250,000 to a base price of $668, which is the biggest model in here, and that puts you at $1 million or right under. So that's what I'd look at here. Again, to recap, 5 total models, add 20 to 40% on top. That would be a really safe barometer. And if you vetted this a bunch of times or you've built other homes, you'll see what I mean here. But more importantly, I'd add at least 100 for a pool. I add $50,000 for the lot. And then I would probably bank $115,000 to $175,000 for design plus structural upgrades. That would give you a really safe thing that you're going to be happy with. All right, the last one on cost, I want to talk about always important HOA fees. So this has an HOA like most communities do. There's only 96 homes, so there's not 1,500 homes to spread those fees across. So you have a monthly fee of $380 here. Now, this community also does not have any amenities. The sales rep jokes like the one park bench in here is your amenity. I'll talk about that in a minute, but there's no amenities in here. So you could be like, why am I paying $380 a month for? Well, what this includes is all of your exterior lawn maintenance and your fertilizer. So if you paid to cut your own lawn, to mulch your own yard, and to fertilize it, it would be at least $110 a month to mow the lawn from a company, for the most part, on average. $50 a month for the fertilizer, so you're at $160. Let's take that $160. It also includes, so $380 turns to $280 turns to $220. It also includes full fiber optic internet. So the only places that didn't have any internet interruption in this area during the hurricane were fiber optic. It's underground, which is a nice perk. Fiber optic internet is gonna be $75, right? So now you're taking $220 down to $150, right? So you're at $150, and then it also includes cable, like a nice package. So that cable then, I don't know, if I pay YouTube TV $75 a month, right? So you see what I'm getting at here. You're under $100. So that $380 is not really $380. So I think all in all, I think the value for the price home and the turnkey nature of a large single family is pretty interesting. All right, now that you got your head around all the pricing, the fees, the models, let's talk availability. What can you actually do now sitting here in October 2022? So 96 total homes, as I mentioned a few times, 26 are gone, under contract or already built. So you have 70 current opportunities left. Of those 70, the cool thing about this community, specifically at Avelina, is they're doing both to-be-built homes and spec homes. To-be-built is normal. You pick which lot you want, you pick the model you want to put on it, you pick your structural, your design, you build the house, it takes 12 to 15 months, there you go, fully designed. A spec home is something that they are picking all that in advance. The cool thing about that is, and they're picking the whole thing, right, is one, that they kind of know what people want, they make them nice. Two is they started building a lot of these before the community was launched. So what this is going to do is it could possibly take a 15-month build time to 3 to 7 months. So it's a timeline thing. If you're not romantic about what you would do individually versus what they already have, that would be a real big advantage here. It's already fully priced out, and that is as turnkey as it gets in the new construction world. All right, now let's talk about where this place actually is. So you are technically in a district called Playmore, which is the newest district on top of that of the master plan Wellen Park, which is a master plan development. And then on top of that, you are basically in South Venice, Florida / Northport, Florida, depending on where you fall. Now the perks of here is really, they solved blended life basically in a lot of facets. Urban walkability, very golf cart friendly, and you're just a stone's throw literally from downtown Wellen Park, which is their brand new mixed use development. It's restaurants, it's lakefront dining, outdoor recreation, tons of shopping, commercial development, multiple things going on there. It's very lovely. And then beyond that, just modern conveniences are right at your fingertips here. They built it all. You're 2 miles from Publix, which is the main grocery store chain. You have a tap house, you have Irma's Tacos, you have 7-Eleven. That's all 2 miles from these neighborhoods. You can see them from here. And then beyond that, one perk here is the spring training facility, the low A affiliate, I think it is, for the Braves, Cool Today Park, is 1.5 miles. You can see it from all these communities in Playmore. Cool thing is there is not just baseball, which they play very little there. It's actually the tiki bar that's open all year round and the 300+ average events that they do there for live entertainment. You could walk to and then walk home or golf cart, which is really cool. Beyond all of that, the big thing with this area is a master plan development that is 12 miles one way from downtown Venice, Florida, which means Venice Beach, Casperson Beach, the Shark's Tooth capital of the world. Brohard Beach, the only dog beach in the county. Very rare to have this kind of community with new construction that close to the beaches. So all in all, I think this location and geography in general is really interesting. All right, and finally, why should you care? Why should you build a home at Avelina by Neal Communities out of all the other communities you could build in Sarasota County or just the Wellen Park district alone? There's several new communities. Well, what Avelina is to this community, I think is one of the most elegant options of a package price on new construction building that you could do in this specific district. We don't have a lake club. We don't have a $4 million price point. What they have is they have a lot of affordability. You know, they have Madame homes in here. They have a smaller version of Neal Communities that's cheaper and narrower. And then they have one custom option with San Rogers, which is going to be a little bit more expensive. But being able to do what these homes are, large single families, 3-car garages, for under $1 million consistently, I think is going to get better with time, not worse. I think they're very appropriately priced. I also really like the boutique nature of the 96 homes with the fees that really get whittled down with the inclusivity of what's included in them. So I think you pair those two items over time as this thing gets continued to build out. I'm looking at long term, regardless of what's launched after this and where the prices in here appreciate to. I think it'll make sense for a long period of time, and I think you'll win now and you'll win later. All right, folks, that is a wrap for this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. Secondly, you're looking to buy real estate, sell real estate, relocate, regardless of your timeline, please consider reaching out to my team if you're resonating with these videos at all. Lastly, before you leave, check out the description box below. Free digital guides, free analytical tools, my website. There is going to be an ever-growing library of free resources there, so we would love for you to check that out. Most importantly, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.